New footage just blew up. Fulio's crew and Youngin Ace going at it right inside the courtroom.
In a shocking and chaotic courtroom scene that has left social media ablaze, a massive fight erupted between controversial internet personality Charleston White and rap legend Boosie Badass shortly after Boosie was handed a prison sentence, with both men throwing hands in front of the judge and completely derailing court proceedings. A wild display of animosity that has people asking whether this explosive outburst could further complicate Boosie's legal troubles. This was not just an argument, not just some heated words. This was a raw, unfiltered clash of two outspoken figures who have never been known for holding back their tongues or their tempers. And the circumstances that led to this confrontation have roots that run deep, mixing years of mutual disrespect, personal grievances, and the kind of public showdowns that the hip-hop world eats up but the legal system frowns upon. Please do not forget to like this video, share and subscribe to this channel if you want more updates like this. Thank you. Now, let's get back into the video. It all started earlier that morning, when the courtroom was packed tighter than usual. Everyone knew Boosie's sentencing hearing was going to draw attention. He's a polarizing figure with millions of fans, countless enemies, and a history that blends street credibility with headline-grabbing controversies. Cameras were barred from inside, but that didn't stop reporters, bloggers, and even a few influencers from showing up early, hoping to be first to break the news of whatever was about to unfold. What nobody expected, however, was that Charleston White, a man infamous for his brazen online rants, would show up at the courthouse at all, much less that he'd be in the same room as Boosie and somehow become part of the day's chaos. Boosie arrived dressed sharp, as if he wanted to make a statement that prison or no prison, his image would stay untarnished. His lawyers whispered last-minute advice. Fans outside the courthouse shouted their love, and there was a tense energy in the air. Inside, the judge read to the final charges and sentencing details, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Boosie supporters hoped for leniency. His critics prayed for justice. Then came the sentence, a significant prison term, the exact length carefully recorded in court documents but not immediately made public. The words hit the room like a cold slap, and while Boosie kept his expression tight, the flicker of anger in his eyes said everything. That's when Charleston White made his move. Witnesses say he had been sitting quietly for most of the proceeding, his trademark thick glasses reflecting the harsh court lighting. But once the gavel struck and the sentencing was official, he stood up and asked to speak to Boosie. Those who know Charleston know this was never going to be some calm, respectful exchange. This was the same man who has mocked rappers on live streams, called out gang culture with venom, and picked public fights like it's a hobby. He's also known for baiting people into reactions, and Boosie, fresh off hearing he'd be spending years behind bars, was in no mood to entertain any provocations. Charleston stepped closer, gesturing animatedly as if trying to make a point. Boosie, still flanked by security but not yet escorted out, responded with a sharp retort that only seemed to fuel the fire. Words became shouts. Shouts became movement. Then, in a split second, the courtroom erupted into chaos. Boosie lunged forward and Charleston swung back, fists flying, bodies colliding, and the entire solemn decorum of the court shattering like glass. The judge yelled for order. Court officers rushed in. But the two men were locked in an old-school street brawl, ignoring the yells, ignoring the law, ignoring the fact that they were literally fighting in a courtroom, one of the worst possible places to throw punches. Reports say Boosie landed a clean hit early, but Charleston, wiry and quick, countered with a surprising amount of aggression. Papers flew, chairs scraped, and people scrambled back to avoid getting caught in the melee. Security finally managed to separate them, but not without a struggle. Boosie's lawyer was shouting about excessive provocation, while Charleston, still fuming, claimed he had unfinished business with the rapper. Exactly what that business was remains unclear. Some speculate it's tied to comments Boosie made about Charleston in past interviews, while others believe it's personal beef that's been simmering for months. Whatever it was, it boiled over at exactly the wrong moment, in exactly the wrong place. Now, the big question hanging in the air is whether this fight will impact Boosie's sentence. Legal analysts say it's possible the court could interpret the outburst as contempt, potentially tacking on more time or penalties. Others think his legal team might argue that Charleston provoked him, hoping to frame the brawl as an unavoidable reaction in the heat of the moment. What's certain is that this moment will be replayed, rehashed, and debated endlessly online. Already, social media is on fire. Twitter timelines are flooded with witness accounts. Instagram stories are reposting shaky cell phone footage captured just outside the courtroom doors. YouTube commentators are breaking down every detail, from Charleston's smirk when he first approached Boosie to the way Boosie's chain swung wildly during the fight. TikTok edits are turning the altercation into a meme storm, and fans are divided. Some are clowning Charleston for even daring to step up to Boosie, while others are praising him for keeping the same energy in person that he is online. The hip-hop community is weighing in too. Fellow rappers are posting cryptic messages, some warning Charleston to be careful, others throwing shade at Boosie for losing his composure. Industry insiders whisper that this might become one of the most infamous courtroom moments in rap history, joining the ranks of other wild incidents that blur the line between street drama and legal trouble. What's perhaps most fascinating is the way this incident encapsulates both men's public images. Boosie, fiercely protective of his respect and reputation, was never going to back down from a direct challenge, even in the most inappropriate setting imaginable. Charleston, who thrives on confrontation, seemed almost to relish the chance to face his rival in such a high-stakes environment. To them, the courtroom wasn't just a place of law. It was another stage, another arena, another battleground where the rules of the streets clashed with the rules of the state. In the hours following the fight, Charleston was escorted out under tight security, his face still marked by the scuffle. Boosie was taken into custody to begin his sentence, but now with reporters shouting questions about whether he had just made things worse for himself. The judge, visibly irritated, promised to address the altercation formally, which could mean additional hearings or even fresh charges. For now, the official stance is that the details will be updated shortly. But that hasn't stopped the public from speculating. Was this fight planned? Did Charleston come to court with the intention of getting under Boosie's skin? Was Boosie set up to react, knowing the world would be watching? Or was it simply two combustible personalities colliding at the worst possible moment? One thing's for sure, this story isn't going away anytime soon.
Might need to.
New footage just blew up. Fulio's crew and Youngin Ace going at it right inside the courtroom.